basically every industry in the United States of America has been outsourced to China, and more precisely the Chinese Communist Party. So in turn, they can weaponize these supply chains against us. So that is really what is the driving force. In part, of course, it's fiscal and it's economic policy, but it's really more rooted in national security. And I think serving as sort of a buttress or a bulwark against the Chinese Communist Party's continued economic predation against the United States of America. And in the same way that Australians should fight to put Australia first, even the Chinese people should fight to put China first. So I don't think they would argue that that's necessarily the Chinese Communist Party. A lot of these trade deals that America has pursued for decades have really only left our ruling class, our elites enriched, really at the expense of the American working class. And these tariffs, I think why you're hearing such consternation about them is because it's the same people who lied to us for 4 years telling us that Joe Biden's economy was so great. Well, now it's that same, globalist kind of sect within the media that's now melting down over these tariffs because newsflash, President Trump is weaponizing the American economy on behalf of the American people and against this sort of globalist Chinese Communist Party type authoritarian world order, which I think really rests on decoupling America from really its former destiny, which is being a manufacturing powerhouse. And I think not just for the United States, but for Australia too, a world in which China is dominating us economically is not something that benefits anyone.
Natalie Winters, let me just say that is the best explanation I've heard from anyone. We've had acres of newsprint here in Australia. You won't read any commentary as insightful as what you've just given us. Thank you so much. That's why we've got you there in the White House, Natalie. Fantastic. Now let's talk about Ukraine's ceasefire. We talked about it last week. Obviously, it's now moved to the next stage, as you've said and I've said. Clearly, it's a process. It's a game of chess, and there's no point jumping in halfway through the game of chess and saying, oh, you shouldn't be moving here or there, which is what all our commentators do. Let's see how it all plays out and the end point we get to, which we appear to be getting to. What's the feeling in the White House there about the next stage? Putin seems to be moving towards some kind of agreement. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. The press corps within the White House is always trying to jump the gun and ask President Trump if there's going to be international peacekeeping forces, if Ukraine is going to join NATO, what it looks like with Russia. And of course, there's always the subtle subtext of you're a Russian agent, because I guess they still haven't given that up since 2016. But the White House has still forged ahead. They put people like Stephen Witkoff, people who are not career politicians here in America. They love to smear a lot of President Trump's top picks as loyalists, which I don't necessarily think is a bad word if you're loyal to the country you're negotiating on behalf of, but maybe to the Democrats, that's a foreign concept, no pun intended. But these people, I think, have really been able to put forth sort of outside of the box solutions and really just situations in terms of bringing Zelensky, bringing Putin to the table. Obviously, you have a temporary ceasefire. Obviously, Russia has said that they want a more long-lasting peace, but I can tell you, I hear the people in the briefing room talk about it. They are so mad that they have to report that President Trump is inching closer every single day to actually ending a conflict that, believe me, the legacy media has played a significant role in fanning the flames of, in part because I'm sure all their friends and buddies are profiting quite immensely from these continued aid packages. But I think President Trump is very clear. He wants the death, he wants the destruction to stop. But I think he's also very, very clear-eyed about this idea of international peacekeeping forces really just being code for sort of turning what is going on in Ukraine and Russia into another forever war. And that is and always has been anathema, at odds to what the America First and MAGA movement is about. So it's really a balancing act. But I think he's prioritizing not having American troops on the ground and just stopping the killing, which I guess might be a bad idea for the globalists, but it's probably a good idea for humanity writ large.